In this review we're looking at a model that first appeared around the year 1999. Here's the box, and the original equipment manufacturer was Menck and Hambrock, and the model is of a type M251 Dragline. This is a model from NZG's historic series, and as the machine was old, the box comes in an aged style. It does have Menck and Hambrock branding, and at the end of the box we can see that this is NZG model number 470.
Let's weigh it up.
Putting the box onto the weighbridge, and it's about £3, 3 ounces or 1.44 kilograms. So we know the weight it weighs. Let's now open it up and see what's inside. We're going back to a model made around 25 years ago. And in one respect, not a lot's changed because you still see expanded polystyrene trays. There's an instruction sheet we'll look at again in a moment. And after cutting some tape, we can lift the lid off the top tray. And then we can see some jib sections and some other smaller parts. Next we take off the top section, and there's the body of the crane sitting inside. It comes with this simple instruction sheet which is presented in an older style. And it's a nicely produced reeving diagram. The assembly of the model is simple enough, and the jib sections are joined by an old-fashioned pinning method. This works fine because the pins are tight enough on the review model, and once that's done we need to press in some rope guides. These are basically metal parts with just a push-fit connection. After that, the model gets reeved up by following the diagram.
Let's weigh it up again.
With the model completely assembled, it comes in at £2, 12 ounces. What is 1.25 kilograms? Starting underneath, there's a metal base plate and it has the NZG logo on it. And we can see that unusually there is an axle rod joining the two crawler tracks. The underside of the body is plain. The old style crawler track wheels are metal and they look great. And the pinned metal track links are heavy duty. You can see that there is detailing on each of the track pads. And the undercarriage is detailed too, with some access panels detailed. There's a nicely cast big toothed slewing ring. And you can see that the old style cab has joysticks inside with big knobs on. There are also big spotlights outside the cab. The windows have neat metal frames and there's a metal ladder going up to the roof. And a particularly nice detail is the Menck and Hambrock logo. There's another window provided at the back of the body. The rear of the crane is fully old style. There's sharp graphics. And the big counterweight is impressive with the Menck name cast in. On the opposite side of the body there's a metal grab rail and another sliding door and logo. The paint finish on the model is very high quality. At the front you can see a bump because there's a big gear wheel inside, and you can see the winches through the big opening. The roof of the model continues the authentic detailing, with both rivet heads and panel openings detailed. The small luffing pulleys are metal. A nice touch is that the exhaust pipes have proper holes in them. Moving on to the jib, and at the jib foot there's a special section for the dragline, and you can see where the hoist rope runs through that rope guides that we installed earlier. One good aspect of the pinned connections is that they produce a realistic look. And at the jib head you've got some metal pulleys for the luffing. And there are sharp graphics with the Menck name and model number. Another really nice aspect is the spoked metal pulleys at the jib top. The dragline bucket is another all-metal part, and it includes chains and connectors. Perforations are indicated on the bucket sides, and one slight modification here is that jewellery clasps have been made for the final connections to make it easy to unhook the bucket. Back underneath, and we start with the crawler tracks. And as you can see, the unusual thing is that they turn together. The mechanism itself is free rolling enough, and you can track the Menck about as you see fit. Although you can't turn it on its tracks, that's not an issue for displaying the model. A really nice feature on the model is the opening doors, and they slide smoothly, and you can see the big gear wheel inside. And if we rotate the Menck around, we see there's a nice sliding door at the back, and that lets you see the engine inside. Keep going, and there's a sliding door on the cab side, and these doors give you access to the winches. Rotating the model works nicely, and there was just a slight amount of rocking on the review model. Let's now operate the winches, and special keys are supplied. We start with the hoist winch, and next we move to the luffing winch. The winches don't have positive brakes, but there's enough friction to hold a pose. Lastly, we operate the dragline winch. With that, we can drag the bucket forwards to fill it up, and then unwind it to have a tipping action. And you can simulate this well on the model. Earlier it was mentioned that jewellery clasps were fitted to the dragline attachment points, and that lets us remove the bucket quickly. We've done that so we can add something different which is not included with the model, and that's a good old-fashioned demolition drop ball. And the Menck M251 was suited to demolition operations. So this is an interesting way to display the model. It is some 25 years since this model was first produced, and it's a very high quality model by NZG with a very high metal content. The level of detail is very good, and that also includes the modelling of the internal mechanisms. It's also very nicely flexible and functional. This is a timeless replica of an old machine by NZG, and when first reviewed in 2004 it was rated as excellent.